Hi everybody, today we're here to talk about, thank you very much, some pollen on your carpet, which as you can see, Pierre bought me some lovely flowers today. But yeah, this is we're going to talk about pollen on your carpet today and everything you need to know about what to do with them. So my lovely little assistant there was helping me with that. So I'm just going to introduce our Pierre. Hi Pierre.
Hello Tracy, thank you for having me. Glad you like your flowers.
Oh, I loved my flowers. They were amazing, weren't they guys?
They
yeah,
are,
definitely.
These lilies can be so beautiful in somebody's home. Although we do know they do create some work for us from time to time.
They do, yes, very much so. And this is where today we're going to ask Pierre. Pierre, what can we do when pollen goes? Because we've had a few people talking about this, pollen on your carpet.
Yes.
What do we do?
You know, over the years I've made a few videos like this about pollen on carpets, and I thought let's make a fresh one because there's some questions that might not have been addressed in the previous videos. So what I want to do is just quickly talk about what happens when the lovely lilies tip over, and usually it's in a vase and it falls over, and with it comes the water, and then the pollen, the buds have not been removed. Some florists will actually remove the buds to remove the pollen, but sometimes it happens that it does not, especially of course when they're still closed when they come to your home, and then to make it last as long as possible they'll open up. So first of all, of course, if you can and it doesn't affect the look of the flowers, do cut these buds out. I mean, we can switch to a bit of a closer view and I can just show you what we've got. So what you can do is you can just simply cut these little bits out. If you cut these bits out, that can cause the pollen. I can show you, but you can actually see there in the lower flower.
Oh, it's all over the.
It's smearing
bag,
and it's really sticky. And as you start rubbing it, it can become a big problem. So what happens, Tracy, is this lovely flowers would then be in a vase, and it can possibly tip over, or you know what, it falls, and in the process of falling, this then rubs onto the carpet. So what I have here is the close-up, and I'm going to try and recreate this on this piece of carpet here.
Oh.
Let's go ahead, and what I'll do is I would snip one of these, and what we'll do is we have that there. Now, as it touched the carpet, some of that pollen will then rub onto the carpet.
Look how quick that's gone on the carpet.
I'm going to try and go closer with the camera. So you can see that there's some pollen now sitting on the carpet there. And of course with it comes the water. And now we have that transfer onto that carpet. Now I'm going to twist the camera just a little this way. Twist this carpet a bit that way. And then what I'll do is I would just quickly see if I can get a bit. And you can see there, this has transferred there. Now, with the water on there, what we'll then try and do is we would now try and get that up. So as soon as we start rubbing that,
oh my, look at that.
now there's a big yellow mark.
Wow.
So now you thought that was small, and you can see there the yellow mark. We then have this one over there. I'll try and do that one, and I go, oh, please let it be gone. And look how big that became.
And that's the first thing we all do, isn't it? We all grab that something to wipe it with, to try and get it off.
And look at that mark now.
Wow.
So what we can do is let's quickly have a look at the microscope, and I've under the microscope what a pollen piece would look like. So this bit of pollen is, you can see there, it clumps together because the pollen is very sticky, and it's sticky because it sticks onto the bees' legs when they pollinate flowers and so on. And then that stickiness, it's helping the pollination. So the stickiness is the reason why it adheres to your carpets, it adheres to your furniture, to your soft furnishings really quickly. And this is the problem. So that little tip over, it falls onto the carpet, it falls onto the sofa, and then it sticks to that fabric, and you think, how would I easily remove it? And boom, before you know it, you started rubbing at it, and these big fat yellow marks happen that I can probably show you there and there. And now you think, how am I going to get that out? And you're going to run to the cupboard, and you're going to go and get a cleaning product, and you might even decide, I know Art of Clean gives us a cleaning product, and we'll use this cleaning product to try and remove that mark. And the thing is, this product is a water-based cleaner, So because the stickiness is caused by a little bit of oily substance on there, this would not necessarily be very good at using. In fact, you probably will end up spreading the stain a little bit more. You'll then go to find other things under the cupboard, and before you know it, that yellow mark is now huge. So what we want to do today is bring to you the idea of how to deal with this if that falls onto your carpet. I'm going to go and carry on by trying recreating this pollen falling onto your carpet. I'm just shifting this over, and I'm going to just try and recreate that process of a little bit of pollen has now stuck to your carpet. I think I've exhausted this one.
I think that one's, yeah, it's run out.
It's somehow run out, shook it off mostly. So what I'm going to do is snip a new one, and I'm going to gently just try and get that onto this area. And what we'll do is we would try and recreate that, and you can see there, do you see that orange?
Yeah.
So there's orange there, and what I'll advise then is clear up as much as you can. And what if there's water and that area is wet, what I then would advise is to leave that to dry out a little bit. So don't touch it, just leave it to dry out, and what you'll have is that pollen that sits there is now going to be still intact, because the pollen is a little ball that contains all the good stuff inside, and as soon as you start to rub it, it explodes and that all comes out. So leave it to dry, don't rub it, and once it's dry, here's what you do. Go and get yourself a roll of sticky tape.
That's what you were looking for sticky tape for.
That's why I was looking for sticky tape. So what you'll do is get yourself a piece of sticky tape, get yourself a piece of that. What you'll then do is snip that off, and you can now roll it inside out, or you can just simply use one side if you like. So I'm rolling it around my finger like so. What I'll do is I'll gently just pick up those pieces of pollen, and I'll get it onto my sticky tape. Or you can use a sticky roller. The dry cleaners might sell sticky rollers, so you can use that to pick up those pieces. Now you notice that's gone. Right, now that would be on my sticky tape, and then what I'll do is I'll take my sticky tape and I'll carefully dispose of that so I don't rub that onto something else. Right, so your sticky tape to get that pollen up before it's rubbed into the carpet. Though Tracy, what I've seen in our previous videos is that people comment, oh, but it is now already yellow and your video is not very helpful, because what do I do now? So I thought of making this video again and talking about how we address this yellow stain here. So we have a yellow stain on the carpet, and we've got another yellow stain. I'm going to go a little bit back. So I've got a yellow stain there and a yellow stain there, and how would I address that problem? So what you can do at home, and what we'll probably address when we come and deal with this type of stain, is we'll treat it as a oil-based stain. So what you can go and do, get yourself some surgical spirit and use your cotton towel, and you can then attempt at making it better. Note, I say better, you might not totally remove it. So what you want to do...
So you can just get that in Tesco's, can't you?
Yeah, Tesco, pharmacy, anywhere like that. What you want to do is very gently, without rubbing it too much, and I would advise also use your sticky tape before you start this, even if you've rubbed it, just in case there's some more left. And I seem to see that it starts to look better. Yeah. You see, that looks better.
A lot better than it did a
Now,
minute ago.
I don't think you, in some cases, you're not going to totally remove it. Probably in most cases, you won't be totally removing it, but it would look certainly much better. So I would use surgical spirit to remove that a little bit better. And also the reason why I recommend surgical spirit is because it would be evaporating afterwards, so you don't have rinsing to do. If we clean it for you, we may use products, but we will then rinse that product out. So that would need to be left to dry a little bit and let that evaporate off, give it a bit of a groom. And notice I'm dabbing, I'm not rubbing aggressively because it might upset the pile a bit. So there we go, it's still a little bit present, but I feel happy.
It's a lot less than it was, I mean.
It's a lot less. Right.
If you brush the pile one certain way, you could probably see it.
Yes, you might see it a little bit more. Leave it to dry, and you might say, well, I'll try that again later. Now let's go ahead, and I'm soaking that into the towel. Let's go and try this one here, and I use my surgical spirit and I'm making that a little better. You can already see there's a little bit of transfer on there. In fact, there's a tiny piece that actually I should have tried to use the tape to just get that off first. And I'm going to dab it.
Will different carpet textures make a difference?
Yes, absolutely. So what we have here is a cut pile, and what we have over here is a loop pile. And the thing is, with your loop pile, if I'm going to start rubbing it aggressively, I might upset the pile. In fact, if I continue like this, I might fluff it up a little bit.
Yeah.
So be very careful. Notice that.
Oh wow.
See, that has transferred quite a lot.
And
So what I'll do is I'll start a new piece.
And it's still quite present on the carpet.
Still very present on the carpet. So what I'll do is I would just dab that until I have removed as much as possible, and be very careful to rub it aggressively. You see there's still a little bit present there, and I'll just keep repeating the process. And what you can do is leave this to evaporate off and dry off, and then just repeat the process. You see there's a tiny bit there. You can see there's still a lot in there. So that's what I would do to remove that. To recap, I'm going to just grab this piece of pollen, and let's imagine that falls on the carpet, and then we have a little bit of transfer. You can see it there. Use your sticky tape. Let's get a piece of sticky tape, and we would remove that piece very easily. So what we'll do is use the sticky tape, and we would simply remove that. But would that happen, that we get this pollen on the carpet, that one is pretty used up.
You've used all the pollen.
So we've got the pollen there, and we start rubbing it, and it goes yellow. What we then do, go back to get your sticky tape. Get your sticky tape. You can just use it like that if you want. Gently stick it over there. Remove whatever's left, because if you have any of that left, then you may spread it a bit more in the process of cleaning. So do that. Now you've got it in the bit of sticky tape. Dispose of the sticky tape. Get yourself some surgical spirit, and you would then use that a few times over to remove that mark. Notice I'm dabbing, I'm not rubbing. So that's what I would recommend. You can see that looks already much better. And if the water has fell over with it and it's wet, I would advise leave it to dry off, and then get your sticky tape and try and remove it. Don't go aggressive at it and try to remove it and go, oh my word, it's the end of the world. Leave it to dry and then attend to it. Just make sure other people know as well, so they don't walk in and see there's a mess and think, oh, we'll clean it up.
They're going to try and clean it up.
They'll try and clean it up. So there we go.
Perfect.
Thank you.
So there you have it. If you get pollen on your carpet, sticky tape is the best way to go. Let it dry, don't do it first. And then your surgical spirit, which I didn't know. And you can get that at Tesco, so easy fix. Obviously, if you need a carpet cleaner, you might not be in our area. So people in our area, we are here, we will help. There are other people in our area as well, but if you go to the NCCA, that I'll link down below, you can find yourself a carpet cleaner in your area. So have a great day, everybody. Take care. Bye.